Okay, hello and welcome to the Hutchinson County podcast. Today is March the 1st, 2025. My guest today is Toby Nutter, candidate for PSP CISD School Board. Today's episode brought to you by the High Plains Observer. Toby, welcome to the Hutchinson County podcast.
Thanks for allowing me to be here.
Appreciate it. We will start with the first question. Your background since high school.
Oh man, since high school, when I graduated high school, I worked for Valero for 14, 15 years. I left Valero, went to Energy Transfer. I was a plant manager there for about 7 years. And since then, I've left there and now I sell oil field supply.
Very good, Toby. All right, next question. You have 3 businesses. Let's talk about that. We'll start with the gym, how it became a dream and then became reality.
Man, the gym was took a long time to come to fruition. So we had a dream of creating something in the community to give back to seniors and give people a place to work out. And it seemed like from the time that we started talking about it to the time that we actually built it and got it done was, I'm gonna say, a span of 4 or 5 years. So the dream was very hard to achieve, and it kept problems kept arising. Something would come up and we wouldn't be able to do it, and then finally we were able to make it come true. But I think our goal with the fitness center would be to impact the seniors in our community, and then give people a place to work out and give back to just in the citizens.
I do remember in 2016 we had a class reunion. I can't remember which one. I think it doesn't matter. But you were actually going around the park asking people, "Hey, would you sign up for a gym if I built one?" And I remember saying, "Oh, heck yeah!" And I was thinking, I don't live in Stinnett. I'll probably never be a member. And I actually, till recently, was a member for 5 years and was very satisfied with what you and your wife Randy have going on here. So consider it very successful. And I've actually seen your membership in the last 5 years grow too. I know I used to come up here in the afternoon, not a lot of people, and then every year it just seemed to keep growing. It's been busy, and every time I drive by here, there's a parking lot full of cars, morning, afternoon, evening, night. So very successful. And I know we branched off of that. You have a juice bar here in the gymnasium, Tribal Nutrition, if I'm correct on that.
Yeah, so that is my wife's venture. She makes the smoothies and the teas, and it adds to I guess the gym in general, just to fitness and eating right, putting the right things in your body. She also does classes. She's turned this.
So pretty good. Yes, and that
Yes,
and
yeah.
another very successful. And I will circle back. You was talking about in your background. You have been involved in some charities over the years. We can talk about that.
So yeah, back in and I don't even remember what year we created Hudson County Children's Charity, and then we started an event in my pasture called Nutterville, which it started out just as a bunch of friends popping fireworks and cooking. And then the last year that we had done that, it turned out, I think we had somewhere around 2,500 people in the pasture. That organization is still alive today. I think when I was there, I think we returned $750,000 to the people in Hutchinson County. So that organization was it was very fun to do.
Yes, and I remember also having a lot of people out there. That it was another thing too that over the years it actually grew and grew each year. You did that and everything, and the community is very grateful for having people to step up and do charities. So we will move on to the next question. Before we talk about the Adobe Spirits, let's talk about what the process was in getting alcohol legal in the city limits of Stinnett, because Stinnett's been dry ever since their inception. So tell us about that.
The petition process was very lengthy. It was rather a pain. We have a lot of hours and signatures and talking to people, and I think we've made some enemies along the way with that, but I think we've done some good things with it also. So nobody's driving to Borger after they've been drinking all night. It gives back to our community. The tax dollars stay in Stinnett. I think that was my biggest driver, was the amount of money that would stay in Stinnett.
Sales tax and everything.
Yes,
Oh yes, good for the community, and it's helped communities. A lot of people fought it, but over the years, eventually have given in to that and have benefited with the increased sales tax in their community. So we'll talk about the last business, Tribal Spirits. Tell us kind of the idea with that, and go ahead and tell us what all you sell that you can remember off the top of your head.
So that was when we built the building for the fitness center. I went ahead and planned Adobe Spirits in with that when we built. We rented that space out to Jesse for a little while, the pizza place. And then after COVID hit, we got all our signatures for the petition. And so then Jesse moved out, we started renovating, and then today we have Adobe Spirits. So Adobe has helped pay for the fitness center a little bit, because it's easier to have two businesses under one building. But still, business is tough.
Yes. Oh yeah. It's the economy we've been in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Not to get political, but I mean, obviously everything has went up.
Yes.
Times 10 on some items. It's been pretty crazy. So
Being a business owner's tough. I mean, because we get beat up all the time. If it ain't, as soon as you get $1 in the bank, something happens and there goes your dollar. So,
dollar plus probably $10 on
Yes,
top of the dollar you made.
yeah, but we're lucky.
The profit.
I mean, we're real lucky that we got.
Good affordable prices. So be sure that folks that are watching this podcast check that out here on the north end of Main Street here in Stinnett on the west side. The long gray building there on the south end with a convenient drive-through. I do want to ask you, how did you come up with that Shiner city limit sign?
Oh, I think when we opened it up, after you spend so much money, the beer vendors will give you signage and things to that nature. So I think upon opening, that was given to us.
Well, you'd be interested to find a historical fact. Back when we were in school with the consolidation, there was research of what other school in Texas was named Comanches. That's kind of what they wanted to go with, an original name. I know Raiders was actually an option at one time for the consolidation, but the research showed Shiner was the only school in the state at the time, other than West Texas, to be named Comanches.
Oh, really?
So that's a historical fact. Now with the new schools that have popped up in the past 35 years, I'm not sure if that holds, but at the time, yes, Shiner, basically it was a town by the coast, and they were named Comanches. So that's kind of where they come across. There was only one of the school to have that mascot, so that's where the direction the school board went. My dad actually did that research, is how I know on that. We need to do something original, and that's kind of what they went with. So, and I see that sign, that just kind of reminds me of that. And they're actually a pretty powerhouse football team. I guess, was it Post met them in the state championship one year and didn't fare so well. Had a couple of D1 athletes playing for them. So we'll move on to you. What year was your first year on the school board?
2014.
2014. So you're looking to extend past a decade there on the school board.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about that first year. Was it what you expected, more than you expected, and kind of the challenges of getting that? Because a lot of people we don't know what the school board does outside if we go to a meeting and everything. So kind of tell us that experience, that first year, and how it went in 2014.
2014 was very overwhelming for a school. I was the newest on the board. I served with, and everybody on there had a long tenure. Everybody had been there a while. That's actually the year that the bond had passed, and we were building all the stadiums, the playgrounds, and everything of that nature. So that first year was a very big learning curve. There was a lot going on, a lot of meetings, a lot of big decisions that I see today that, with, anytime that you walk into our facilities, some of the decisions that I think I played a key role in, I see. It was difficult. The first year was difficult, just for everything that was going on.
Pretty good learning curve and a lot happening, and you actually got your name on the plaque now forever on those facilities. You and a couple other people I know. Some of the other guys did awesome job giving back to the community and being on the school board. Like I said, we went to school with some of them guys.
Yeah.
And Terry Bevins, Rodney Franklin, and
Yeah.
a few others, and they did, I thought, an excellent job. Everybody's like, well, it's way over the top and what y'all did and everything, but you compare it to all the other facilities in the state, we're right there with them. I mean, you'll have a town half the size of Stinnett actually have a bigger stadium and a bigger gym, so it's not uncommon. We just got to kind of do it first, and first one in Hutchinson County to get field turf and the big gym and stuff. So something to be proud of, us being ex-alum. It's something when I come back or come to a game, I feel very proud and happy inside to see, I was an alum of this school, and it's very nice to see that event center and watch a basketball game or a volleyball game or that football stadium with that sound system and the lights. It's just very impressive. So we'll move on to an issue that's been in the news quite a bit. Your opinion on school vouchers.
Oh, man. So there's not anything good about vouchers. There's not anything good about our legislatures. They don't support our teachers. They don't support our kids. If our local representatives vote for that, and I believe they have, they probably shouldn't get a vote one if they're voting for school vouchers. I think Caroline sold us down the river. I don't think she ought to get a vote when it comes time for her to be reelected, because she didn't represent her district, in my opinion, to how anybody would have voted. Texas doesn't care about their teachers, their kids in public schools.
Yeah, it's like the last legislature, 2 years ago, they had it in talks. I know they gave state employees a 5% raise 2 consecutive years, but somehow the teachers got left out, and that's something I just don't understand. I mean, you give state employees, the teachers, you give them a pay raise too. And should have done. Yeah, they did do the teachers, and some of the ones I've talked to, they don't make enough for the hours you put in. Yes, they get 3 months off, but some of them work 12, 14 hours a day during the school year, and that's not counting other times in the evening. Maybe a student may need some help, may communicate email or something like that. So teachers are very unappreciative, and I think we're starting to see the reason shortages because they're getting burnt out. And the older teachers like we had, of course, they're retired and everything's geared toward test, and it's a very difficult. I would not want to be in the profession, and my hat's off to anybody that takes that role on, or even a coach, and especially a coach and a teacher. I've got to know a few years back real good them coaches in Fritch and talk to them about the hours they were putting in. People don't realize they get up at 6 in the morning, go to work at 7:30 like a coach, teaches his class, drives the bus most of the time to an out-of-town event, comes back, he's home at midnight, he's got to turn right back around, or her, and come back to school. It's a tough gig, and they don't pay enough. And I had seen a press release where they were supposed to get raises. I'll believe it when I see it, but they were kind of pressured this time into, hey, the school teachers, we're going to have a bunch of them leave the profession if y'all don't do something about that. So yeah, the school vouchers, I actually have not seen outside of government. I mean, let me go back. Seems like anybody in government they're 100% for them. And the opposition I've not seen is basically the voters on that issue. I don't have any kids in school. I don't having a hard opinion either way. If I had kids in school, I probably wouldn't be against it, but you could look on the other side. Say you're a student, maybe you have a couple of kids, you're in a school system, you're stuck, you can't move, your kids don't mesh with the student bodies, they don't play sports, all they have is trouble, maybe getting bullied. That voucher could be an option for some kids like that. If you're looking at playing devil's advocate and everything, but most part just depends on who you talk to. If it's good for their son or daughter, if it's not.
I believe the vouchers is just a pay increase for the wealthy.
Yes.
Because the kids that can't afford a private school are not going to private school; they're going to public. So basically, all we've done is given the wealthy a raise, and I believe that our local representation has sold us out on that.
And if you see the dynamics of a private school, they recruit athletes. They're people with money, and you are right about that. Something else I wouldn't have thought of, that they are wealthy people.
I'm just hoping that out of the voucher and in this legislative session, that I hope they do give teacher raises. I hope they do give them what they deserve. But in the past, they spoke about teachers' raises, but they've not put the funding in the schools to back the raise. Here's a mandatory raise that you've got to give teachers, but there's no funding.
There's
to
no
go
funding
with it.
for it.
There's
Yeah,
no
fund to back it up, and
Yes.
need to do. They're going to decrease the funding. You're going to make us pay people more. You're going to have to
Yes.
give us more money. Totally understand that. So my next question is, why are you the man for the job? What have you done in your the good and the bad from the last 11 years being on the school board? Feel like things that have improved or things that could be improved, and how you can give back to the community and the school.
I think just the business sense, the dollars, the owning the business, getting kicked, being down in the life of business, and I'm pretty sure anybody that owns one can tell you that it's probably the roughest job on the planet is owning a business. The years of the school finance, being up there listening, dealing with it. I hope to get elected to help the new superintendent that comes in. So I would like to help that person continue the trajectory of the school. I believe the school is on the best path that it's probably been in a long time.
So is the school, I'll just ask this, voters want to know this question, is the school currently operating in the red, the black, break even, or can you even talk about that?
The school is in the black.
Okay.
So in the last 3 years since Mrs. Copley's got here, we banked. I'm gonna say we almost banked 2.1 million in the bank. So things are rolling very well. I'm gonna hate to see her departure, but I'm hoping that we can somewhat come close to replacing her. But the school has done very well in the last 2 years under her regime. She has paid for herself quadruple in the grants, the funding, everything she's done. So like the early learning childhood academy, and then that's been phenomenal. That's been all grants. You're gonna need some experience after she leaves.
Yeah, that's definitely, because we understood I was a freshman when we consolidated, and you were probably 7th grade?
Seventh grade.
Okay. Now my dad used to drag me to all these school board meetings during the big, consolidation, got to hear all this stuff. And basically we went from being Stinnett Rattler's poor school district to like one of the richest school districts in the state overnight. So used to having that money, that extra money all these years, and then the laws have changed and had to tighten the budget a few years back, and a lot of people didn't understand that. Why we got to cut the bus routes in town stuff like that. And I tell people, hey, that was a Phillips High School deal. They ran the routes. When we were Stinnett, buses did not run in town. That was kind of brought over from Phillips. Some of the stuff that we were doing, the excess, was Phillips adopted because they were a wealthy school district, being right there by the refinery. They were banking it. They had, I remember we brought over 20 school buses and we had 3 before the consolidation.
Yeah.
So, and they utilized all of them. This is what we do. And, but I'm glad to see things. I know it was rough for a few years. I mean, personally, I'm glad to see things back on the right track. And
Yeah, I think we had to hit bottom in order to
times,
get.
yes.
Yeah, you got to hit bottom because you can't. You had to go through a RIF. We had to get rid of some employees. So when 80% of your budget is employee salary, there's not a lot you can do to change your budget unless it's reduce the number of your head count.
For sure, and the enrollment, I think we're in a good spot on 2A enrollment. Just my personal opinion. I don't think we need to go up to 3A and hit 3A and D2 and everything. Just it's not all about athletics, but I mean it's just it's a good spot. I feel I've seen some other candidates mention we need to increase the enrollment and all that. I mean, we knew when we were in school the enrollment was 270. We were almost old 3A back then, and over the years slowly trickled down. But I feel that the smaller school, you're not getting as much money, but more teacher student ratio is a lot better.
Yes.
With a smaller enrollment, and that's actually a good thing. You don't want a 1 to like 300 kid ratio. That's just exaggerating, but you know what I mean. So.
And our the Head Start program, it's got kids in it that are not even in our town. So the way Miss Copley has done that there's other Head Start programs that we get a count for their kids. So there's a lot of things that happen that people don't understand. So we have enrollment figures from the Head Start program that are not even in our school system. So the way she has circumvented that is phenomenal.
She definitely gonna be missed and everything, and hope her and her husband enjoy retirement. I know I heard an interview. I guess Perryton radio station interviewed him, and just interview him at random, and didn't realize that was his last game and his career and everything. So
yeah, she's the best superintendent in the state.
Well, I see him doing a good job. Well, I'm gonna get you with a question I didn't have wrote down.
Okay.
Okay. Guilty pleasure TV show. Now the definition of that is it's not something bad. It's like you're watching a TV show and your beer drinking buddies or whatever cookout buddies are coming over, and you're going to change it when they show up. Examples like you like watching the Housewives of Atlanta or Dancing with the Stars or Golden Girls reruns or a really sappy show or a series. So what would be Toby Nutter's guilty pleasure TV show? It's a hard question. I mean, I popped it on Greg Harms this morning, and it was kind of, he actually picked a show that we actually both liked, and not a guilty pleasure one, but actually a cool Western that he liked watching, kind of his go-to. But it'd be something. I can just tell you, like, I'll tell you mine, just maybe watching Star Trek or Star Wars reruns or something like that. I mean, it's cool shows, but hell, that made new episodes, some of those in like 20 years. So
Yeah.
kind of something maybe, like I said earlier today, flip to Sports Center or something,
Yeah.
But just something like that. That's a tough one. No.
I'm probably gonna say Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Yeah. That or oh man, Coyote Ugly. That's probably the 2 shows that I've seen.
Kind of something you'd flip the channel if your boys
triple digits, yeah.
And your boys come over, you can change the channel. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. You got me on that one. So everything. Yeah. Earlier today, Greg said Tombstone. I'm like, hey, that's a good movie. That's a good movie. Actually, that's when your boys would come in and start watching with you, not change the channel and stuff. And even like maybe Young Sheldon, I could throw in there for myself. I mean, that's a cool show, but it's, I don't know that or Big Bang Theory, just kind of stuff like that. Well, is there anything you want to say to the voters? Kind of your final message?
Man, the trajectory right now is awesome. in the way that the school's going. I think the lineup of people that's running is phenomenal. And there's some good ones. So,
Okay, would you be wanting to mention? Because I've tried to get a list and I haven't got but like 3 names, and that's all I've got come up with.
So the only the ones that I know of are the people that I've talked to about it or that said they were running. So and the ones that I've discussed things with are would be great candidates. I mean, they're all business people. They have a background in education. There's some great people. I think the biggest thing is that what I think people should know is that our tax base is $1.2 billion. The amount that we give back to the state is large. So I think the current board is trying to get our tax rate as low as we can and live off of bonds. So if you look at some of the richest schools in the Panhandle, they live off of bonds. Because when we raise the tax rate in a bond, all that money stays here. So we're not giving millions and millions of dollars back to the state. So my big thing is keep voting on bonds, keep voting for your kids, your teachers. I think the way that the board's going now, it's time for raises. We're putting money in the bank. Things were actually great in the school system. I'm gonna hate to lose Miss Copley, but it's been a lot of fun working with her.
So yeah, I was going to ask you a question. It just slipped my mind. Oh, okay. Do you have any? I know you've been on the board for a long time. Do you have any like social media pages, like Vote for Toby for School Board or any of that stuff? Or
No.
you just basically kind of out there and I'm going to run again and everything? I know some of the other candidates are kind of doing their own page and stuff. And I only know of 4 names, but we'll actually discuss that when we're off the podcast.
Okay.
Not throwing anybody under the bus, but I have hit up 2 or 3 others for this opportunity that I've given here tonight. A little exposure and kind of promote yourself video to put out there. So
I've got
see
3
how it
more.
goes.
I've got 3 more years in me.
3.
And I probably won't run again. Like I say, I'd like to help the new superintendent get off the ground. I'd like to help the board continue the path that we're on. To me, the board that we have right now has been phenomenal. Everybody's kind of got a different point of view, and man, it's been the last 3 years have been fun. It's been exciting, and there's been a lot of great things happen within our district.
Yeah, I know the one candidate, I will throw him out there, is Bubba Mahan is not running for re-election, that he told me, so that's...
Yes, and he said he wasn't.
And Bubba, if you watch this, or your wife, appreciate your service. I know we talked during the football game that you helped me with, and you did a great job, man. Appreciate your community service and everything, and enjoy life away from the school board.
Yeah, Bubba was phenomenal.
Bubba's awesome.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Bubba? He's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Bubba. So
one of the neatest things about our board is everybody's alumni.
that helps a lot, and you don't. But usually most small towns, hopefully you get that. Then
everybody's a Comanche.
Everybody ex-Comanche, so their heart is in it.
Yes.
Over in Bulger, I'm not sure about Bulger, and that's interesting, Toby, that Bulger had 3 openings and only 3 people were running. Fritch, same thing, 3 openings, 3 people running. They're not even having school board elections.
That happened here for a lot of years, right? So
Just
when there's nothing going on in the school system, there's nobody mad at a coach, nobody mad at a teacher. You get people that want to run with a purpose, and then when there is animosity, you get people that run with an axe to grind. And frankly, when they get in and they have that axe, then they figure out it's a team of 7 people, and if you can't convince the other 6 to help you grind that axe, then normally they get in and they figure out that you don't hire, you don't fire, and you can't grind your axe, and then people make for bad board members.
Oh yes, You can't have an agenda. You got to do it because you love the school, you love the kids. Actually, we reverse that. Love the kids. That's number one. Then the school, number two. Everything.
You got to support your faculty. I mean,
And faculty. Love your faculty too. We'll leave them folks out. But yeah, you always kind of focus kids. Kind of been my thing. So
what would be neat is if everybody that had a complaint about a faculty member would write them a letter and say, "Hey, thank you."
yes. They have a tough job, folks. I give them that. I know it don't see eye to eye. I know, growing up, there was some issues. And nowadays, I mean, that faculty member actually can sit down and have a conversation with and say, "You were right. I was an idiot," and stuff. So, I mean, kind of learn your lessons when you're young and then grow old and think, I was not very nice kid. So,
And I think what you'll see about board members is when things blow up on Facebook, they're not on there. Right, so they're not going to make a comment or normally get on there and get in with the conversations because it's a no-win situation. Because you're in an argument with people and
you're not going to win an online argument. I've learned that. I try not to comment on any complaints or anything else, and it's especially a small town. It's everywhere. They're going to attack the school or the local convenience store, or the local restaurant, or just everything. It's just small town drama, and it's actually aired out there. And I look at it like this: it's words on a screen and everything. And it's sometimes it's hard to show restraint, but you're just not going to win it because you're going to have about 10 more jump on there and try to pile on you and everything. So just kind of let it ride and just know that you're doing the best job you can. That's all you can live with.
But I think Dawson's running. Casey's running again. Man, he brings a lot, and
yeah, and I wouldn't want a ticket from him, so I'd be I've actually been pulled over by him before. Love Casey Dawson. He's awesome, nice guy, and everything. Yes,
he helps works for security, right? So when you got a guy like that knows the things that he knows, our security is at another level.
Oh yeah.
So you got him that plays well with Donnie Davis, and then the SRO at school. Man, them guys all get along so good, and I think we're well taken care of in that department.
Very much, yes. And that DPS training, actually, I've been told, is right there with Marine boot camp training. So, not Marines learn law enforcement, but the physical training and all the stuff they learned. He's definitely an asset. And I've actually Dateline, I know he's running, David Cossey, and then y'all are the only 4 names I've heard now.
Yeah.
Anybody else is welcome. I'll just put this out there. Anybody else of you school board members want to come on this podcast, get with me and we'll set this up and talk about it and everything. So
and Dayton will be another one that I hope he gets reelected. He's been a phenomenal. So we kind of see eye to eye on some things, and his budget awareness and financial awareness has been on point. He's been a lot of fun to serve with and visit with, and great family.
Yes. And David Cossey, of course, a lot of people know him. He's was the robotics teacher at one time here at Stinnett. Worked at Fridge for a while, so he has been in the education system. I don't think he is currently, but he does have a teaching degree and everything. So throw his name in it there. And if I miss somebody, I'm sorry. I reached out to different people, and then same 4 names come up. So we got one of them tonight, and anybody else is welcome to come on. We'll talk about that.
I think Autumn Watley, she brings
okay.
She brings a good educational background. I've heard Brandy Kimmel.
Okay.
That's what I know her by. But my brain just left me. Fairweather.
Fairweather.
Yeah.
Okay.
She brings a lot of business sense. Man, her dad was on for many years. Rod, he was a lot of fun to serve with. So she comes with a history of being a Comanche also.
Yeah, Autumn I know from the gym there, and she's I think maybe her aunt I went to school with back in the day, and everything. She's maiden name was Hope, if I'm mistaken. Okay.
Yeah, there's a stellar lineup of folks there that I had mentioned.
I'm trying to throw you under the bus, and I was going to ask Toby actually to talk nice about all of y'all, but he seems to cover that. So, any final words tonight?
Keep voting for Bonds. love your teachers.
Agree with all that. So, well, we'll go ahead and that's a wrap on this week's episode. Be sure to check out Hutchinson County Podcast on Facebook and now YouTube, and on the High Plains Observer Facebook page and highplainsobserver.com. For myself and Toby Nutter, we are out of here.